In this video, we're going to be talking about the benefits of moving a rental property into an LLC, as well as what are the negative consequences of putting a property under an LLC. The first thing that you need to think about is what happens if you have a rental property that is under your personal name. Then that means that if tomorrow there's some sort of lawsuit and you're involved in, what is your legal liability? So the question is, what happens if someone gets hurt on the property, or maybe you have a pool and somebody drowns there? Then now that means that you are now personally liable if someone gets hurt there. So now, by grabbing the property and removing your name off of it and now putting the property under an LLC's name, you are technically removing the liability off of you personally. Now the question is, why would someone ever try to sue you? Well, you can be sued for many reasons. You can be sued if you were involved in a bad car accident. They can now technically go after that home if that home is legally under your personal name. And if tomorrow somebody goes and falls at your home, your personal residence, they can go after any investment properties also under your personal name. Now remember, this doesn't mean that if you have a property under the LLC, you don't own the property. Remember that you will be the one that owns the LLC, so technically you still have control over that property. Now another question is, when should you not be using an LLC when it comes to real estate? So the main issue with putting a property under an LLC is that now if you have that LLC and say 2 months go by and now you want to do what's called a cash out refinance and you want to refinance the property, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to go and refinance the property because you're not going to be able to go through the traditional lending structure, meaning that that property is not legally under your name anymore. So normally you want to make sure that this property has been under the name of the LLC for a minimum of 6 months so that it can have a qualifying mortgage. If tomorrow, for whatever reason, you want to refinance, at least the refinancing process is going to be a lot easier. Now, the last thing that you have to be very careful with is that if you decide tomorrow to change the title of the property and now you want to put the property in the name of the LLC, you are technically changing the ownership of that property. And now remember, if you have a loan on this property, the bank now lends you that money. That means that now that money that was lent to you was lent to you. It wasn't lent to the LLC. And this means that now the bank has the legal right to call the loan, meaning you would have to go and pay off any loan that you still have outstanding with that bank. So that could be very scary if tomorrow your bank finds out that you changed the ownership and you removed your name and now you put the LLC. Now, the only thing I can tell you is this. In my experience of doing this over the last 15 years, I've never seen a single scenario where a person has removed their name and now put an LLC and now the bank calls the loan. Are they legally allowed to do that? Yes, they are. But does it normally happen? No, it doesn't, because remember, the only thing that the bank wants is all they want is just to make sure that they keep getting that check every single month, paying down that loan. As long as you're paying that down, normally they're not going to have any issues. I hope you got a lot of information out of this, and if you have any questions or you'd like a free one-on-one session with one of our wealth advisors, feel free to reach out. Take care.